Let me tell you something, men are simple. Simpler. We ain't complicated like y'all think. But here's the problem. Most of y'all out here chasing him when the game is flipped. You're supposed to be the prize, baby. I'm going to teach you today about 5 little words, just 5, that will flip the whole script. You send this man these words, and I promise you he gon' call, he gon' text, he gon' chase you like you Beyonce at the Grammys. And I'm not talking about no games or playing hard to get. No, ma'am. I'm talking about understanding your worth, creating a little mystery, and letting that man know you got a life that don't revolve around him. See, here's what I know, a man chases what he values. If he sees you got standards, if he sees you got a life, if he sees you ain't out here begging for attention, oh, he gonna put that effort. By the time we done today, you gonna know how to text him these 5 words, sit back and let him show you what he's really about. Because baby, when you level up your energy, you ain't gotta chase nobody. They gonna be chasing you. Know your worth, ladies. Let me tell you something. If you don't know your worth, you are already in trouble before the game even starts. And I ain't talking about a little bit of trouble. I'm talking about front row, seats to Hartage City. See, the truth is simple. A man will only treat you the way you allow him to treat you. If you don't value yourself, don't expect him to magically see your value. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking, but Steve, I do know my worth. Okay, baby, let's test that. When that man cancels plans last minute and you still text back, no problem, maybe next time, do you know your worth? When you keep accepting breadcrumbs of attention, late night texts, last minute dates, and half-hearted apologies, are you acting like the prize or like the consolation prize? See, knowing your worth ain't just about saying it. It's about living it. It's about walking in it every single day. When you know your worth, you don't beg. You don't chase. You don't compete for attention. You sit back, you shine, and you let the right man step up and meet your standards. Let me give you a story. Years ago, I was talking to this young lady, smart, beautiful, driven. She had everything going for her, but she kept lowering her standards for a man who couldn't even spell commitment. She'd say, Steve, he just needs time, he's different. And I told her, no, baby, he ain't different. You just keep handing over your crown to somebody who don't even deserve to wear it. A man is like a hunter. He values what he has to work for. Think about it. If you hand a man a trophy before the game even starts, why would he even play? But when you make him earn your time, your respect, and your attention, he'll chase you like you the last bus of the night. Men respect boundaries. They respect women who respect themselves. Knowing your worth means you stop putting your life on hold for someone else. You build your own dreams. You take care of your own happiness. You go to that yoga class, you take that trip. You spend time with your friends. You invest in your career because your world can't revolve around somebody who hasn't even proven they deserve to be in it. And let me tell you, when a man sees a woman who is whole, happy, and fulfilled all by herself, that energy is magnetic, he can't ignore it. Because men, listen carefully now, men want to add to your life, not be your whole life. When you stand tall in your value, you're saying without words, I don't need you, but I'm open to sharing my life with the right person. And trust me, baby, that will have him running after you faster than Usain Bolt in the Olympics. But here's the catch. Knowing your worth isn't about arrogance or playing games. It's not about acting cold, mean, or distant just to make someone chase you. That's manipulation, and that ain't love. What I'm talking about is confidence. Quiet, unshakable confidence that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table, and I refuse to sit at any table where respect isn't being served. And yes, when you raise your standards, some people are gonna walk away, let them. Stop chasing people who show you they don't see your value. Because when the wrong ones leave, it makes space for the right one to show up. The one who doesn't just talk, but shows through his actions that he knows you're worth the chase. Ladies, hear me on this. You teach people how to treat you. If you keep letting a man get away with the bare minimum, that's all he's ever gonna give you. But the moment you step into your worth, truly own it, you'll see a shift. You'll stop accepting excuses. You'll stop explaining why you deserve better. You'll stop settling for almost love. Because when you finally understand your value, you won't have to beg for attention, for respect, for love. You won't even have to ask for it. The right man will recognize it, and he will rise to meet you there. That's what knowing your worth does. It changes the way you move, the way you talk, the way you love. And once you get that, baby, the chase will take care of itself. The power of mystery, ladies. Let me tell you something. Mystery is one of the most powerful tools you have in the game of love. But too many women throw it away without even realizing it. See, here's what happens. You meet a man, and before you even know his middle name, you've told him your entire life story. From your kindergarten crush to your high school heartbreak, to that time you almost quit your job because your boss was crazy. And then you sit there wondering why he suddenly pulled back or stopped chasing. It's because you gave him the ending of the movie before the first scene was even over. Mystery keeps people curious. It keeps them invested. When a man can't figure you out completely, his natural instinct is to lean in, to ask questions, to pay attention. That curiosity is what creates the chase. Men are hunters by nature. They love a challenge. And no, I don't mean playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. That's not mystery, that's manipulation. I'm talking about simply holding back enough of yourself that he has to earn the right to know more. Think about the most interesting books or movies you've experienced. They don't tell you the whole story in the first 5 minutes, do they? They keep you on the edge of your seat, wondering what's next. That's how you got to approach dating. When he asks about your life, don't spill everything in one breath. Give him just enough to spark his interest. Let him see that you're a woman with layers, a woman who has more to her than what's on the surface. Mystery also signals confidence. When you're not rushing to overshare, you're saying, without saying a word, I know my value. I don't need to prove myself. If you want to know me, take your time and put in the effort. And believe me, a man will notice that energy. Here's the thing about people. We value what we work for. When you hand everything to someone too quickly, they won't appreciate it the same way. But when you make them earn your time, your attention, and yes, even your stories, it sets a tone. It tells him, if you want access to my world, you have to show up, you have to be consistent, and you have to mean what you say. Now, let me give you a quick example. I once coached a woman who met this guy at a charity event. She said he was charming, good-looking, the whole package. They talked for hours that night, but here's the key: she didn't tell him everything. When he texted her later, she kept the conversation light and playful. She didn't jump at every message, and she didn't clear her schedule just to see him. And guess what? That man chased her like his life depended on it. Why? Because he felt like there was more to her story, and he wanted to know it. Mystery works because it creates space for the imagination. When you're not available every second, when you don't answer every question right away, a man starts wondering. He starts thinking about you when you're not around. He starts putting in effort to see you, to talk to you, to be part of your world. But here's the part most people don't get. Mystery isn't about distance, it's about balance. It's about letting someone earn their way into your life at a pace that feels right. It's about showing enough to spark connection, but holding enough back to create desire. When you do that, you're not just another person he met. You become the person he can't stop thinking about, the woman whose story he wants to uncover page by page. That's the power of mystery. It's not about being cold or detached. It's about knowing that you are worth discovering and letting someone put in the work to truly see you. The 5 words now, ladies, I know you've been waiting for this part. Sitting there thinking, Steve, just tell me what to text him. Well, here it is. 5 simple words that can flip the whole game. I'm busy, call me later. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But trust me, these words carry power because they change the energy in the conversation. Most women don't even realize the message they send when they're constantly available. You answer texts immediately, you rearrange your plans to see him, you drop everything just because his name popped up on your screen. What does that tell him? That he doesn't have to do anything to keep your attention, that you're sitting there waiting. And when a man feels like he doesn't have to work, he won't. But when you say, I'm busy, call me later, something changes. Suddenly you've told him without a lecture, without a long conversation, that your life is full. You've told him you are not waiting by the phone, and that if he wants a piece of your time, he has to respect that time. That little sentence puts you right back in control, not by being rude or cold, but by showing confidence and value. Think about it. A man wants to feel like he's pursuing someone worth pursuing. When you've got things going on, your own goals, your own friends, your own plans, you become that woman. And here's the kicker, men are naturally curious. The second you tell him you're busy, his mind starts racing. Busy with who? Why wasn't I invited? That curiosity fuels his desire to reach out, to follow up, to chase harder. I'll give you a story. I was talking to this young woman who said, Steve, this guy I like never texts first. I'm always the one initiating, always the one trying to keep the conversation going. So I told her, stop doing that. Next time he texts you, don't jump. Wait a while. And when you do respond, just say, I'm busy, call me later. She looked at me like I was crazy, but she tried it. And guess what happened? That man called her that night, then called again the next day and started planning dates instead of sending half-hearted late-night messages. Why? Because she stopped handing him all her time on a silver platter. These 5 words are powerful because they communicate so much without you having to over-explain. You're saying, my life is full, my time is valuable. And if you want to be part of my world, you've got to make the effort. That's attractive, that's magnetic. And that's what makes a man step up. Now let me be clear, this isn't about playing games. It's not about pretending you're busy when you're really just sitting at home watching TV. This only works when you're genuinely building a life you love, when you're actually busy with work, with hobbies, with self-care, with friends. That energy is real, and men can feel that difference. They can sense when you're confident and fulfilled, and they respond to it. Another thing these words do is flip the balance of effort. When you're always available, a man doesn't have to plan. He doesn't have to pursue. But when you politely set a boundary, you make him earn your attention. And when he earns it, he values it more. Here's something else I want you to understand. Saying, I'm busy, call me later, isn't just about the words. It's about the energy behind them. It's not an attitude, it's not an I roll. It's calm, confident, and kind. You're not being mean, you're simply reminding him that your time is important. That tone changes everything, and you'd be surprised how quickly his behavior changes when he realizes you're not sitting by the phone waiting. He starts texting more. He starts calling instead of sending lazy one-word messages. He starts making plans because now he knows your time is valued. When you use these 5 words consistently, something amazing happens. You shift the dynamic. Instead of chasing, you become the one being pursued. Instead of wondering when he's going to text or call, you're the one deciding if and when you'll answer. That shift is powerful, and it starts with 5 simple words that tell the truth. You are busy, you are valuable, and you are worth the effort. So the next time your phone lights up and you feel that familiar rush to respond right away, pause. Take a breath and remember the 5 words that keep the power in your hands. I'm busy, call me later. Actions over words. Ladies, let me tell you something. A man can say anything, but it's what he does that tells you the truth. Words are easy. Anybody can string together sweet promises, send a good morning text, or talk about how much they like you. But actions never lie. Too many women fall in love with potential instead of reality. You hear what you want to hear instead of watching what's right in front of you. He says he's busy, but still wants you to wait around. He says he's serious about you, but never makes the effort to plan a date, meet your friends, or show up when you need him. Baby, if his actions don't match his words, you're living in a fantasy, not a relationship. The reason actions matter so much is simple: they reveal priorities. When a man truly values you, you don't have to question it. He shows up. He calls when he says he will. He makes time for you even when life is hectic. He doesn't just tell you you're important, he treats you like you are. That's the difference between empty promises and real commitment. Think about it like this. If a man tells you he's a good driver, but every time you get in the car with him, he's swerving, hitting curbs, and running stop signs, would you still trust him? Of course not. Love works the same way. Stop trusting what people say and start trusting what they do. When you begin to pay attention to actions over words, you take back your power. You stop wasting time on situations that are going nowhere. You stop rewriting stories in your head, trying to make excuses for someone who has already shown you the truth. And you start holding people accountable, not with anger or drama, but with boundaries. Boundaries are where the real change happens. When you stop accepting bare minimum effort, the right man will step up because he knows your standard. He knows that your time is valuable and that being in your life is a privilege, not a guarantee. And the ones who aren't ready for that, they'll walk away, and that's a blessing, not a loss. Actions also matter on your side of the equation. If you want a man to respect you, you have to show him through your behavior that you respect yourself. Don't just talk about your goals, chase them. Don't just say you're independent, live like it. Don't just post quotes about self-love, practice it daily. When a man sees you living with purpose and confidence, it changes the way he treats you. I remember talking to a woman once who was stuck in a cycle with a man who never showed up for her. She said, "Steve, he keeps telling me he's trying. I just need to be patient." I told her, "Baby, if a man tells you he's trying, but nothing changes, he ain't trying. He's just talking." The moment she stopped accepting words without proof, she found her peace. And not long after, she found a man whose actions matched every word he said. It's also important to understand that actions over words create respect. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. When a man knows you pay attention to his actions, he'll either rise to meet your expectations or reveal that he's not ready for what you want. Either way, you win because clarity is better than confusion. So start observing, not with suspicion, but with wisdom. Watch how he treats you when things are easy, and pay closer attention to how he treats you when things are hard. Anyone can say the right things during good times. True character shows up when life gets challenging. At the end of the day, a man's actions will tell you everything you need to know. If he shows up, protects your peace, and adds value to your life, that's someone worth giving your time to. If he doesn't, don't waste another minute explaining to someone how to treat you. Step back and let your actions speak louder than your words, too. Because when you know your value, you don't have to beg for respect. You live in a way that demands it without saying a single word. Set your standards, ladies. Let me tell you something. You don't get what you deserve in life. You get what you demand. And I don't mean demanding in a loud, aggressive way. I'm talking about quiet, steady, unshakable standards that say, "This is who I am. This is what I expect. And if you can't meet me here, that's fine, but you won't get my time." Too many women confuse having standards with being difficult. But the truth is, a man who truly values you will never see your standards as too high. He'll see them as a challenge, as something to rise to. A man who wants you will always put in the effort to meet your needs because he knows you're worth it. Standards protect you. They keep you from accepting less than you deserve. When you don't set them, you leave the door wide open for confusion, heartbreak, and disappointment. You find yourself justifying bad behavior, giving second chances to people who don't deserve them, and shrinking yourself to keep someone who should have been gone a long time ago. I remember talking to a woman once who said, "Steve, every time I meet a man, I try to be everything he wants. I change my schedule, my style, even my personality." I told her, "Baby, that's the problem. You keep bending until you break, and for what? If you have to lose yourself to keep someone, they were never meant for you." Setting your standards is about knowing exactly what you want and sticking to it. Not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. If you want consistency, don't entertain someone who only calls when it's convenient. If you want effort, don't settle for bare minimum energy. If you want commitment, stop wasting your time with someone who clearly isn't ready to give it. The beauty of having strong standards is that they naturally filter people. The wrong ones will disappear on their own, and you won't have to argue, explain, or beg. The right one will step up, stay consistent, and show you through his actions that he respects you and the boundaries you've created. And let me say this, standards are not about perfection. Nobody's perfect, and you shouldn't expect someone to be. But you should expect effort, honesty, and consistency. You should expect to feel safe, valued, and respected. Those aren't luxuries, those are the basics. When you raise your standards, something shifts inside you. You walk different, you talk different. You stop wasting time on people who don't add to your life. And that energy, it's magnetic. The right man will see it and know he has to show up with his best because you're not settling for anything less. At the end of the day, setting your standards is an act of self-love. It's saying to yourself, I know my worth, and I will only align with someone who recognizes it too. When you live by that, you won't have to chase, convince, or compromise your peace. The right person will meet you where you are because they know they'd be a fool to lose you. Closing motivation, ladies. Before we wrap this up, I want you to hear me loud and clear. You are the prize. You've always been the prize. Somewhere along the way, you might have forgotten that, maybe because you've been giving too much, loving too hard, or settling for less than you deserve. But today, that stops. Those 5 words we talked about aren't just a text. They're a shift in your mindset. They remind you that your time, your energy, and your love are valuable. They remind you that you don't have to beg for attention or compete for someone's effort. The right man will never make you question your worth. He'll see it, respect it, and match it. Here's what I need you to take with you. Love yourself first. When you know who you are and what you bring to the table, you stop entertaining situations that drain you. You stop answering calls that don't deserve your time. You stop explaining why you deserve basic respect, because you already know you do. And let me tell you this, when you stand in that kind of confidence, the right person won't just find you. They'll pursue you with everything they have. Because a woman who knows her value, who protects her peace, who carries herself like the prize she is, will always be unforgettable. So go out there and own your power. Set your standards. Keep your mystery. Build your life so full and beautiful that anyone who wants to be part of it has to rise to meet you. You don't have to chase love, baby.